Hi, good evening, guys. Hmm. Let me see if you can see my screen. Hi, good Sangeet. Hi, Vikas. Hi, Nipi. Hi, Sketchmaster. Hi, Nisa. I'm good, guys. Can you see my screen? I don't know what's wrong. Hi, Mitchell. Hi, Gangjong. Yes, I paid $39, but like recently, since I moved to Charles Schwab, they have taken out my bookmap. I have to like request that one more time. Right now, I do not have bookmap with me. But it's cost $39. And tonight we'll be looking into a few things. Uh, so these are my charts normally, and I added the cloud because I use 12 and 34, and Ripster also uses 12 and 34. So it's just a cloud, which I added on top of my charts. Right now, I'm gonna wait for a couple of minutes. Uh, Hi, Vikram, because I'm a little early into the meeting session, but I don't know, like I have started using this on my phone and I'm not getting any of these charts, lines or regression channels on my mobile phone. I have everything here, like even all my studies, which I had like manual, they are now double all of a sudden. I don't know why. Like all the user defined, like if you go to the tools and thing script and look at user defined, now everything is like two times defined. I really don't know why. All of them are two times, like double. Even my watch list was uh, changed. I look into my watch list as Naval's watch list, but on my phone it comes out to be a totally different watch list. So I'm not sure what's happening in my phone as compared to what I have on the screen here. It's still 10:08 and we have 30 people. Thank you for joining, guys. So let's start then. Will not waste time. See, my take on PPI is, first of all, what covers PPI? Let's take help of the chat GPT. What entails PPI? So it's the goods, services, and construction. Final demand, intermediate demand, and stages of production. So this, like, we need to understand so that we can take into account the impact of higher PPI or lower PPI into the trades. Right now, market is totally ignoring everything in the last 5, 6 days. It's in a very tight range. So we need to be very clear what this PPI is and how it is going to impact. CPI, we all know, but with PPI, it includes goods, food, energy, and other goods, excluding food and energy, services, trade services, transportation, warehouse, construction. Now, this means if there is this is like a raw material. So if this is increasing, it means the producer, who is the manufacturer of these services, these goods, is paying more. So the possibility of him passing over these hiked prices to the consumer is really, really high. So if goods are getting higher, services are getting higher, construction cost is getting higher, it means it is going to go into the CPI. All right, this is a very layman understanding of PPI. Now, there are three versions of it: final demand, intermediate demand, and stage of production. Now, final demand is the actual cost which was paid by the producers during the month of April. And during the month of April, the cost of crude also went up. The energy prices were high. Uh, Construction prices, I have no idea. But transportation prices, crude was high, so the transportation must have gone higher. Warehousing is something which we don't know how it is calculated. But I think PPI will be a little higher than what we anticipate. So let's go to investing.com and look at the expectations. Economic calendar for tomorrow. So tomorrow we have 8:30 core PPI. Expectation is that it should only rise by 0.2%. The core. Core is excluding the food and energy. And PPI is expected to increase 0.3. Now, if we look at the PPI here, the definition here, it measures the change in price of goods sold by manufacturer. It is a leading indicator of consumer price inflation. So if they are buying higher, they are going to sell higher. If they're going to sell higher, it is going to go into the CPI. Now, the caveat here is that the consumer demand has gone down drastically in the last few weeks. Plus, if you look at the GDP growth, it has also taken a toll down. So if this PPI comes out to be higher, there may be still a possibility that CPI still may not be higher because there's not enough demand to capture. It is kind of creating a state of deflation where there's no demand and the producers are not ready to cut down on their prices. That's why I'm just spending few minutes here that tomorrow's numbers, PPI, may not give you a clear move again. It will only come after the CPI. So it's better to understand how it is going to impact. In the last few months, PPI has come, last time it was lighter and against the forecast. But if you look at the CPI from last uh, month, I'm going to go into the CPI. CPI M CPI was higher on April 10th. So there's not a clear uh, relationship because the consumer demand is a little iffy. So all in all, I can say that market is waiting very clearly here. It is not ready to go up, not ready to go down, but it is making and dodges, which I don't like because dodges is uncertainty and the volume has dried up drastically. Like today on ES, the volume was less than a million, less than a million, which is really bad. 890K. Yesterday was 1,060,000. Before that, 1,050,000. On an average, the volume was 1.5 million. So market is drastically waiting. And if we lose 5,200, we have tested like 52.20, 52.30 in the last few days, but we still have 12 EMA catching at 51.95. So I'm thinking if 51.98 is held, we still may try to attempt a move higher towards 5,500. But if we lose 51.98 this time, I think we'll have support right at 50.70. So that's about 130 points on the downside. Also, you see the ADX, which is the DMI, has coming down, and both the red line, which is showing the negative strength in the market, and green, which is showing the bullish strength in the market, They are tightly coupled to each other. So tomorrow we may not even move much unless there's some drastic change. It may wait for CPI to give clear direction. If PPI is higher and CPI is higher, that confirms that inflation is stagnant because it's third or fourth month back to back where inflation is not going down. And when inflation is not going down, the possibility of rate cut diminishes. But on the other side, they may reduce the QT, which they have like claimed that they'll start doing from June, but they may get a little aggressive on that because the tightening is there and they do not want to create a state of deflation where like there's hardly any demand. All right, so I'll be very careful tomorrow. Again, you need to be very wary of the levels. Tomorrow, if we can clear, like if you see right here, this 50 to 60 area, or I will say round figure 65 area, has been providing resistance. On the bottom is 50 to 30 area. We have tested 2, 3 times here and managed to hold within this range. Now, everything is telling me that yes, the big move is coming. Last time when I saw this, I'll show you. It was not in the recent past, but when I saw this kind of data, this was, I think, uh, right here, right on the top. So you see, exactly this kind of data was there. This was right here. Dodgy, we were coming up. Let me just bring it to the center. This was exactly similar state. We were going up after testing 34 EMA. We had green, exactly like today, and then dodgy, dodgy, and then a little red, and then it started going down. This happened in the January of 2021 or 2, 20, January 2020, where we marked the top. We are almost in a similar stage. I will not say we are marking the top, but similar setup is like we went up by testing this. You're making dodgy, dodgy, and dodgy. If we have red tomorrow, a little red tomorrow, maybe still holding 50 to 30, I think that's a sign that market is trying to give up. Nvidia, which has been a leading indicator of the market moving higher in the last few days, is showing a little sluggishness, like it has been lethargic. It's not moving up as compared to what it used to. So it can start to give up and it has earnings. So maybe like as I showed, even after those dojis, they were 3, 4 days and the market went up from there. And now we have, if you see in the last 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4 dojis, which is not a good sign. All right. Today I'm not doing the sheet because we have PPI and CPI back to back tomorrow and day after tomorrow. But in my opinion, we must hold 50 to 30 if you are trying to hold longs. If you lose 50 to 30, there is no point going long. This area has been tested, like 12 EMA has been tested well enough. And again, these are the charts which I have used. So I have not understood these charts or clouds 100% as of now. I'm just relying on my 12 and 34 EMA, which are red and green lines, which are still there. So they are telling me that yes, the intent of the market is still positive, but there is a sense of uncertainty. And these dodges at, if we see from 49.60 all the way to 52.50, that's about 5% move, 5, 6% move. So having dodges from here, it's a tough ask. Now, if we look at NQ, and again, my bookmap has gone, NQ is creating an ascending wedge. Like it's not able to clear this line, and the bottom is diminishing into a tight range with respect to the body. Now, this may be a bull flag if you want to call this, or a pennant. Like usually flag is like this, pennant is like this. But in this case, it is going up. For me, it's a ascending wedge combination. If it breaks out higher, that will be really good. We'll be hitting 18,714. If we lose from here, the stop is 17,800. So we are right in the middle, 500 points on the upside and about 500 points on the downside, roughly. So NQ, again, the volume in the last few days is so tight. Like you see, this is the inside day. The same thing. If we lose 18,200, that's the first sign that NQ starting to give up and may test 18,025. 18,000 has provided good support in the past, so you need to be careful shorting at that point. Exactly similar to 50/70 on ES. So 18,025 and 50/70 is your support on the if you lose 18,200 or 52.25. These are possible moves down, or I would say 51.98. That's better. On the other hand, if you clear this, which is 18,300 and 350 and hold, or 52.65 and hold, this will lead to new highs and this will lead to 18,715. But as of now, everything is pointing towards down. It means market is waiting substantially for a very big move. It may be a move for a couple of days. So wait for that. All right. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm trying my best to share whatever I can. Gold is another factor which is really important here. Gold, if you see, it's trying to hold a very long-term line. If you remember, I gave you a month chart and I mentioned it's making cup and handle over a very long time. So this is that cup and handle. And that cup and handle over months is breaking out substantially. I still have a target of 2,600 since 2000. I think 2290 will be excellent support for gold. Anytime you see a down move, gold is ready. Gold has not even reached the heights of what you call 1980s or even 2008 or something. The strength is still around 50% away from that number. So there's substantial area of movement into gold. Then let's look at a couple of big stocks like Apple. Apple has been holding this zone in the last few days, which is 183. And 183 to 187. Now, Apple is giving news on AI every now and then, but the Apple had the event, which was a disappointment. Now, Apple is trying to say and try to hold the price somehow, but I don't see Apple has that kind of strength. You can see in ADX itself, Apple has moved up substantially, but there's hardly any strength in this move. It may be very easy to bring it down, very easy, because there is no power in this. There may be a possibility that uh, the Institutions are exiting at these higher prices. That's why ADX is low. So I'll be very cautious. If it closes above 187.75, I would be positive on Apple. Otherwise, I'll be looking to see 179s, and there's a gap of the earnings towards 173. AMD. AMD is one of the stocks which has shown some clear downside move. But again, the volume has cut down to almost half of what it used to have. Like today, it was pure selling, selling, and selling. It's not able to clear the 12 EMA. 12 EMA is like the dark green line here. It is trying, but not able to clear this. So we need AMD to clear 153 and hold. Only then AMD will give you a positive move because it is below 12 EMA. It needs to clear, like the positive strength will only come if it can cross 160 EMA. Otherwise, it's going to be tough for AMD. On the downside, support is around 130, 140. So I'm not interested in AMD. It's like if market is starting to drop, AMD will be the first one to go down. Amazon. Amazon is trying its best to hold that 188 area, which was like previous high. It's like similar to Apple is kind of making M right now. Like from here, here, like went down and then up and now started. If it loses this 12 EMA, which is 185.30, it will not be good. The next support is 181.90. And if that's the direction, then it may even come to 173 and fill the gap. Baba and Baidu have done really well and they have earnings tomorrow and I think on Thursday, so no point. Uh, what should be the next? Meta? I don't know why Meta went up from here to here. They are showing substantial expansion in their cost. Today, it's like an evening star setup clearly. If we lose 466, it's confirmation of the evening star, and we can actually go down towards 449. AMD and Meta may be the two possible uh, scenarios where we can see the sell-off, and the volume is there in Meta, average volume. Google is one which I like. Google is like reclaiming that 12 EMA every single time. So this is the dark line, which is the 12 EMA, this dark line. It is reclaiming the 12 EMA substantially, and it is towards 174. I would say any dip in Google towards 166 should be bought. Uh, then Nvidia. Nvidia is struggling. Like again, there's so many, like it may break out from here solidly, but look at the DMI. It's down and it's down substantially. There is no strength in the option. If you try to play Nvidia, either you need to be lucky with a overnight move. Otherwise, if you take the day option, it is going to be very, very difficult for you to trade. It is going to lose premium very, very quickly. In the last few days, it's not even matching the average volume it used to have. So maybe it is basing for something or market direction, but this is not a good sign. It has earning next week, maybe some offload before the earnings, and then there's a positive move. Like you can see, the ADX was really solid in NVIDIA, and then it's showing some strength, like when it was moving right in the direction. Right now, ADX is really low. The bullish strength is weak. The bearish strength is also weak. Now, you said Ravinder Okta, so let me give you Okta. Okta, it's holding this gap. So, and now it's about to converge positive. There's a possibility that yes, if it holds that 96 area or 97 area, it may attempt 108, 104 on Okta. Guys, tell me what another ticker you want me to cover. I'll pick it up. Microsoft again got rejected by 38.2 Fibonacci, which is 418. Not a good sign. Again, the strength is not there. And that's what is lacking. Like if you see the big stocks, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, the strength is not there in any of these moves. And when there is no strength, it is very difficult to trade. A firm, a firm will move depending on the CPI because a firm is based on the rate cuts. If there is rate cut, there is going to be possible consumer spending spree. Consumer spending spree will add to a firm UPST, Square, PayPal, and so you have to wait, Nippy, for the CPI numbers. In the last few months or weeks, a firm has held this 30-30 area even after the bad like earnings, but bad guidance, it held that. So I'll say wait for CPI for this. GME is GME because you can do Netflix. Netflix has shown remarkable strength. Like it went down substantially, held on to this area uh, of 550 right here, 550, 547, and then bounced. Now, problem with end, it has filled the gap which it was created in the earnings. Now, problem with Netflix is that right now it is the number one streaming company. They have stopped showing from January next year the number of subscribers. What it means, it may mean that yes, they have reached a stagnation on their password sharing and they now do not want to disclose any more numbers because that was one of the main criteria for a very high PE for Netflix. So it has moved and it does move really, really big. And it's trying to find like, I really need it to cross 635. If it crosses 635 on the closing basis, it is up for 700. That's going to be a massive breakout. If it fails here, like it did last time, it may come back to 580, 570 area. That may be a good area to add. Again, there's a big gap which has not been filled yet. So any movement now in this case, you see the ADX is still better as compared to any other ticker. Meta is down, Microsoft it was down, Amazon it was down, Nvidia it was down, Apple it was down. In case of Netflix, it's still better. So I'm gonna uh, say Netflix, if it holds 600, you might attempt for 635. But if you need to be confident, 635, let it cross, it will give you money. Chris, I have done Meta. I'll do maybe in few minutes. ARM ARM has shown like a strength. Recently, it's holding this regression channel beautifully. Again, held the gap which was created initially in the earnings. But it has moved from 95 to 118 today. So I really wanted to cool off a little. Uh, Maybe at 114, 113, it's a good price. But going right at this time may not be a good choice. Again, this stock is a very big mover in the intraday basis. So I'm not saying it's not going to move. I'm saying a better choice will be to enter around 113, 14 as compared to 118. Let's pick up Meta one more time. As I said, Meta is making an evening star right here. Loss of 466 will confirm it. It may move down. And again, you see, ADX is down on Meta, similar to all the other tickers which I've talked. The volume is less. So when it was going up, the volume was less. It has made a dodgy and a red candle, and it is into the gap which was created. The gap is still there. So it may attempt one more time if it loses 466 towards 450 and towards 420s. Lulu, Lulu is holding a base at around 346. Uh, Again, it needs more time. It needs some back-to-back dodgy candles to say, no, I have changed the direction. Because it was 364 few days back and now it's back to 346. So I think it needs time, Ludo. Any more ticker guys? Anybody who wants to come on Zoom, I can share the Zoom link and we can talk. I'm sharing the Zoom link. Krish, you came late. I did Apple already. Shop. Shopify has disastrous earnings in from 77 all the way to 58. I think it needs a morning star. Like if it needs to go above 60, then it's going to be really, really good. Otherwise, I don't think so. It still has any momentum. It may move one or twice here and there, and I think it will spend time here. It's not going up easily. As I've shared the Zoom link, if you want to join, you can join and you can discuss.
Question please explain
Because your voice is not clear, please.
is it clear now? Like I have a throat infection, that's it, maybe.
No, it's very distorted. Try again. Karan, you go ahead. You will talk.
Hi, Naval.
Right.
Naval, I think once you had mentioned about a scanner in which 9:45 a.m. open high low concept. Can you please go over that concept again?
This is the open high low concept. I'm not going to look in all the stocks in my watch list only. So, like for example, here we had Disney, which came under this uh, scanner. So what
Okay.
it said was open was 105.59 and low was 105.59. It means you should go long on Disney.
Okay.
Now it said 732.85, 732.85. It said go short because open and high were same. UPS open and low were same. It said go long. LRCX open and high were same. Go short.
Short. Okay.
Maggie open and
945.
high were same. Go short. Crowd open high same. Go short. All right.
Got it. Got it.
This
Thank you
is a
so
very
much.
simple strategy, but it works.
Okay, sure.
Like if you look at ENBH, 108.69, 108.69, made 113. So possibility of hitting the stop loss is always there, but if it works, it will work really nicely.
Thank you, Noel. Thank you.
No problems. Because try now.
Is it better?
I can hear you, but not clearly. Go ahead.
Just I wanted to understand concept of deflation. You explained it once, but if you don't mind, can you reiterate
Okay, I'll explain
it
deflation.
again?
So deflation is that, let's say I am a car producer. Let's say Tesla. Okay. Now I am producing, let's say 1,000 cars per day or per week. I'm selling them at 50,000 based on my cost of raw material and my profit margin. Okay. January, I was able to sell 4,000 easily. February, the cost of raw material also went higher, but I'm not able to pass on the prices of raw material into the cost price. So what I'm saying is, going by the rates, it should be 51 or 52,000, but I'm still selling at 50,000. On the other hand, the consumers are 3,500, meaning there is less demand. And the manufacturer is not ready to cut prices. Instead, he wants to increase the prices because he's getting higher prices for the raw material. So there is not a supply issue, but a demand issue. What it does is it will tell customers or consumer sentiment, which you have just listened a few days back, it will reduce the consumer sentiment lower, meaning consumers will try to hold the money it has and will go lesser and lesser to buy the cars. So let's say in March, it come down to 3,000. So there is reducing demand, but supply is there. But can this person reduce the cost? No, because the cost of raw material is still high. So in this case, he has to be at a loss and he will say, I am selling the car for 47,500. Consumers may not come even then. It may go down to 2,500. This is called deflation. That yes, there is demand which is getting down and down. And the reason behind this is the higher rates. If you have taken a mortgage, your salary is cutting higher. Cost of living is higher through CPI. Maybe you have lost a job or you are into medication or medical history where you're spending a lot of money. Because of all this reason, you're not spending much. You're not spending much, producer is not able to sell it at the same price or profit. So he is suffering, you are suffering. As a result, the capital is not flowing and it results to deflation. Did it make sense?
Yeah, it does. But how it would affect the market adversely?
See,
Like,
if the China is struggling from deflation for last 4 years, you can see. See, if like for example, let me clear this. If Office 365 is at $39 per month, January I had 100,000 people who were paying for it. February it's 75,000. March is 50,000. People don't want to use and pay for this. What Office 365 Microsoft has to do? It has to cut the prices or offer discount or bundle it with something else. It will be a loss of margin. Loss of margin plus loss of revenue. When loss of margin, loss of revenue, your EPS will go down, and your what do you call the bottom line, which is your revenue. EPS is your profit, top line, and this is revenue. It will go down, and you will see that the consumer
Okay.
sentiment is not good. You will guide lower. You will
Mm.
guide lower. Your stock will go lower.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
No problems. MU is one stock which I'm passionately waiting. Today it gave me some loss, but it held. But again, my concern was it made a dodgy right at, like, it's a gravestone dodgy right in the center of everything. So I don't know, like, to be on a safer side, I chose to get out. But this is looking really, really solid. The volume is still lower. I think if it comes around 119, 118 one more time, that will be a really, really good area. And I still see it crossing 132 and 167. That's what I think is a target for MU. Ulta, Ulta is dodgy at this time. It has reclaimed the 12 EMA. So if 402 is positively held, which was tested to the point today, if it held, then there's a possibility of a move towards 417 to 431. As of now, it needs to hold 402. Starbucks, I don't see. See, dodgy is rare, but if China is back, then Starbucks may try to make an attempt. But again, it needs to clear 77.80 or 77.70. FedEx has been strong, yes. Crowd, Crowd has a tough area, this 320, 330. It is only once it has gone there, and if you look at the journey, it has gone there substantially higher. Now look at the ADX, which is the DMI. It is at well, well low. If it fails, it's gonna fail very quickly. So keep an eye on crowd. If it is going to fail, it may fail very quickly from here. UNH is good, FedEx is good. Humana was trying from 300 to 346, but came down. Uh, this is clearly a morning star, if you can see. Dodgy at the bottom from 290 to 250s and then back to back. So I think FedEx move is already done. Like two candles are already gone. It should have been like full big green candle, then it would have given me confidence. But now, if it comes back to 263, yes. So guys, again, all in all, tomorrow may not be a big mover. Wednesday may be a big mover on the market. And Meta is weak. We did not do Tesla. Tesla is not able to sell the cars. And if they are not able to sell the cars, whatever they are trying to revive the demand. And that demand will only come, like, people do not buy cars for weekly or monthly basis. If they have bought a car, they're going to sustain the car for at least few years. That's why Tesla is not going to get that much into the earnings. Every move up is getting sold. Yep, 10 a.m. Powell is speaking, so let's hear. I If it clears 190, then it has some potential. Inverted head and shoulders will become possible. But if ES is going down, like if I do Elliott wave, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C must be right here. You can clearly see the dip here. So let's see how it goes tomorrow. All right, guys. ABGO. ABGO again is struggling in this area. You see, in this area, it is finding some tough resistance. You need to have 1365 above close, then you are into ABGO. Otherwise, it's gonna be hard on ABGO to trade. All right, guys. So I don't have anything else to share tonight. Hopefully, market gives us clarity in the next 1 to 2 days, and then we'll be able to make the money which I've lost back. I'm expecting that to happen pretty soon. Like once we have a trend day, we can start having a positive momentum. Right now, the days are very choppy, very tight. It becomes very difficult to get back what I've lost. All right, thanks for joining in, guys. 70 people, thank you very much for joining in tonight. Hopefully, it was helpful. I'll try my best to uh, keep these sessions live. Maybe I was not doing it, and that's the what you call superstition, that if I was not doing these sessions, I'm losing. So I'll try my best to reinstate these sessions as much as I can. Thank you, guys. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow night. Bye bye.